the law of divine multiplication. Is there anyone who will lend $1 and receive 7 to 700 in return? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in humanity, people of faith, people of reason, people of the world, today we gather to explore a universal truth that transcends religion, culture, and geography, a truth found in Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hindu philosophy, Buddhist teachings, and even modern psychology and economics. It is the law of multiplication through giving, a principle that tells us what you give comes back to you, multiplied. God says, is there anyone who will lend to God a goodly loan so he may multiply it for him many times over? 7 to 700 times? In the Bible, Jesus teaches, give and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Luke 6:38. In Judaism, Proverbs declares, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. Proverbs 19:17. In Hindu teachings, the law of karma says, whatever you give will return to you multiplied. In Buddhism, generosity, dana, is described as the seed of abundance. Even modern psychology confirms generous people live happier, wealthier, more successful lives. So today's message is not for one religion, it is for every human heart. Imagine a world where one act of kindness returns 7 acts of kindness. $1 given to a hungry soul returns 70 in your life. One moment of helping someone leads to 700 blessings. This is not mythology. This is not superstition. This is not wishful thinking. This is a universal law of life written into the fabric of human existence. When you give, you activate. Divine grace, universal blessing, psychological uplift, social reciprocity, economic expansion, human connection. Giving is the only investment that never loses value. Allah gives a beautiful metaphor. A single seed gives 7 ears, and each ear holds 100 grains, meaning one seed, 700 grains, $1, $700 in blessing. Not as metaphor only, but as a real-life principle. This is a promise not limited to one religion. It is a universal spiritual economics model. The Bible is filled with stories where God multiplies the gifts of those who give. Here are 3 powerful examples. The widow of Zarephath, one meal became endless meals. 1 Kings 17, 7-16. A poor widow had only one meal left for her and her son. Prophet Elijah asked her for that meal. She gave it, and a miracle happened. Her flour and oil never ran out. For many days, she and her family ate abundantly. This is a biblical example of give $1, receive $700. The jar never became empty. The boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. John 6, a child gave his tiny lunch, barely enough for himself. Jesus multiplied it to feed over 5,000 people. And even then, 12 baskets of food remained. This is not symbolic. It is the law. Give a little, receive abundance, as meant. Ion in Bible. The Isaac's 100-fold return. Isaac sowed in the land and reaped 100-fold, for the Lord blessed him. Genesis 26:12, 100-fold return. 1 becomes 100. Same principle Qur'an teaches, different religions, same truth, modern research agrees. Generous people earn more money, live longer, experience more happiness, reduce stress, attract social support, build stronger networks, gain a positive reputation. Even atheists benefit because generosity activates natural laws built into the human mind. Harvard studies show. Giving ignites reward centers in the brain. So generosity is not a religious requirement only. It is a human success formula. Now, let us look at real stories from across the world. Many individuals, and they are from different nations, beliefs, and backgrounds, but all experience the same universal law. Give, receive back, multiplied. Bill Gates gave billions, became wealthier. He donated over $59 billion. Instead of decreasing, his wealth continued increasing. Economists couldn't explain the phenomenon, but the Bible already explained. Give, and it will be given to you. The more he gave, the more came back. One of the richest men in the world, he donates billions annually, yet he openly says, every time I gave away wealth, I became richer in money and in meaning. This is the world witnessing the law of divine multiplication. The billionaire built by giving, and he was Warren Buffett. Oprah grew up poor, but she became a billionaire and credits one daily habit. I give something every day, even if small. She says generosity opened opportunities no degree could open. Abdul Sattar Edhi owned nothing, became globally rich in honor. Eddie served people without discrimination. Muslims, Christians, Hindus, atheists, the homeless, abandoned children. He died with almost nothing, but the United Nations and the world called him the richest humanitarian alive. This is the return that money cannot measure. The Chinese billionaire Chen Guangbiao gives away millions to strangers on the street. Reporters once asked, "Why do you give so much?" He replied, "Every time I give, my business grows more." Different continent, different culture, same law. A businessman in Pennsylvania started feeding 100 poor people each morning within 2 years. His store doubled, then tripled, then became a chain of supermarkets. He says, "I gave them food. God gave me bread from directions I never imagined." Why giving works for all humans? Because giving triggers divine reward, human psychology, social reciprocity, natural laws, emotional well-being, spiritual blessing. When you give, you plant seeds, you build connections, you attract goodwill, you open doors, you soften hearts, you uplift society, you bring peace to your own soul. This universal truth applies to Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, atheists, everyone. Giving is a human virtue, not a religious boundary. Whether you believe in Allah, God, divine law, karma, universe, humanity, or simply kindness, the truth remains, when you give, life gives back to you. When you lift another, you rise. When you act generously, the universe expands your blessings. So I ask each one of you, are you willing to give $1? Are you willing to help one person? Are you willing to plant one seed? Because that $1 may return as $7, $70, $700, a new opportunity, a new job, a healed heart, a saved life, or a blessing far beyond money. This is the miracle of giving. This is the economy of heaven. This is the law written on the hearts of all humanity. Giving is not only a religious principle, it is not limited to scripture, prophets, or spiritual teachers. Giving is written into nature, biology, ecology, physics, human psychology, social systems, economic cycles, cosmic balance. Across the universe, everything that exists gives in order to receive, and everything that receives must also give to continue existing. Let us explore how the law of give and receive multiplied can be seen throughout the natural world, proving that this principle applies to all humans, whether they believe in God, the universe, or simply natural law. A single tree gives away thousands of leaves every year. Those leaves fall to the ground, decompose, and create fertile soil. The soil then feeds the tree. This is nature's whisper. Give what you have. It will come back multiplied. Rain falls freely on the rich and poor, the believer and non-believer, the grateful and ungrateful. Clouds release water without holding back, and in return, the oceans refill, rivers flow, nature blossoms. The cycle proves what you give returns multiplied. This is not metaphor, this is agriculture. A single wheat seed produces one stalk, 7 ears, each ear with about 100 grains. Result, one becomes 700, exactly what the Qur'an and Bible teach. This multiplication is not symbolic. It is the natural law of the earth. The world is built upon the mathematics of generosity. Bees spend their lives giving, pollination, honey, ecological balance. And because of this, nature rewards them with unlimited flowers, abundant nectar, protection through collective strength, long-lasting survival. The universe is saying those who give thrive. Those who take without giving collapse. The ocean evaporates water, gives it to the sky, which returns it as rain, which feeds rivers, crops, trees, animals, humans. Everything is connected through exchange, not hoarding. The natural world follows the same law. Give and receive more. The moon reflects light it does not own. By reflecting it becomes beautiful, admired, inspirational, essential for navigation and tides. Psychologically, this teaches us you don't have to be wealthy to give. Share what you have, and you become a source of beauty. Fire burns and gives heat, and in doing so, it sustains food, energy, warmth, survival. Its existence is meaningful only when it gives. Plants give oxygen freely. Humans and animals give carbon dioxide back. Even breathing follows the law of exchange. You inhale what others give to the human heart. Because the most immediate miracle of giving does not happen in the bank account. It happens inside the giver, long before money returns as 7 or 700. The giver is transformed. A heart burdened by fear, greed, anger, or insecurity becomes heavy. When you give, something remarkable happens. Fear of poverty weakens. Anxiety loosens its grip. Anger softens. Envy fades. Bitterness dissolves. Giving reminds the heart, I have enough. This feeling of sufficiency is the beginning of abundance. Modern neuroscience shows when people give, dopamine activates joy chemical. Oxytocin increases connection chemical. Cortisol decreases stress hormone. This is why generous people feel lighter, sleep better, think clearer, make better decisions. Giving is mental medicine. Inner wealth includes peace, confidence, gratitude, purpose, meaning. A poor man with inner wealth is richer than a billionaire with anxiety. Giving builds the kind of wealth that no market crash can destroy. Fear says, what if I need this later? What if I lose? What if I become poor? Giving replies, I trust life. I trust God. I trust goodness. Fear shrinks life. Trust expands it. A person who gives regularly begins to think, I am capable. I am useful. I can make a difference. I am part of something bigger. This identity shift creates confidence, and confident people attract opportunity. Generosity deepens friendships, strengthens families, builds trust, resolves conflicts, softens disagreements. A generous person is rarely lonely. People are drawn to those who give warmth, time, care, and support. Many people suffer not from lack of money, but from lack of meaning. Giving answers the question, why am I here? When you help someone, your life suddenly makes sense. Whether one believes in God, the universe, or humanity, giving strengthens belief in goodness. Each act of generosity whispers, good still exists. Hope is renewed. Spiritual poverty is when a person has everything, yet feels empty. Giving fills that emptiness. That is why many wealthy people turn to philanthropy later in life. They realize money alone cannot satisfy the soul. 10. Giving prepares you for greater responsibility. Life gives more to those who handle little well. When you are generous with small amounts, time, attention, kindness, money, life trusts you with bigger opportunities. This is true in business, leadership, and life. You cannot handle abundance if you fear loss. Giving trains the mind to release, trust, flow. Abundance flows where there is openness. Sometimes money does not return quickly, but something else returns first. Clarity, peace, opportunity, protection, direction, new connections. Often these lead to financial gain later. The return may be delayed, but it is never denied. Destiny is not fixed. Each act of giving slightly shifts the course of your life. One kind act can lead to one new connection, one opportunity, one chance meeting, one decision, one turning point. And that single turning point can transform a lifetime. Every major spiritual tradition teaches that wealth is not meant to end with death. Money cannot enter the grave, but generosity can enter eternity. When we give for the sake of others, we are not losing wealth, we are transferring it. The Qur'an calls it lending to God. Jesus called it storing treasures in heaven. Jewish wisdom says charity saves from death. Hindu and Buddhist teachings describe it as purification of karma. Different words, one truth. Wealth given in love becomes a passport to eternal peace. In this way, humanity is offered the greatest transaction of all time, temporary money in exchange for everlasting reward. So far, we've understood the truth, the history, the science, and the inner transformation of giving. Now comes the most important question. How does an ordinary human being apply this law in daily life? Not billionaires, not saints, not prophets, but you, today, with what you already have. Giving is not about amount. It is about direction. One of the biggest misunderstandings is, I will give when I have more. This thinking keeps people poor, materially and spiritually. The universal law works in the opposite direction. You have more because you give a smile given sincerely, a minute given attentively, a dollar given honestly, a meal given quietly. All activate the same law. The universe does not measure numbers. It measures intent and movement. Giving should not create resentment. Begin with something so small that your ego does not resist. $1, 50 cents, 1 cup of tea, 1 bottle of water, 1 meal, 1 act of kindness. The smallest seed still grows. Occasional giving is good. Consistent giving is transformative. Nature does not rain once a year. The heart does not beat once a month. Create rhythm, daily kindness, weekly charity, monthly support. Habit turns generosity into destiny. Giving before request multiplies faster. Why? Because it is free from ego and pride. Unasked giving carries purity, and purity carries power. This may sound contradictory, but it is not. Do not give to get, give to give. Yet understand this truth. The universe never forgets generosity. You may forget what you gave, but life remembers. When no one knows what you give, ego dissolves, sincerity increases, fear disappears, hidden seeds grow the strongest roots across religions and philosophies. Secret generosity is considered the most powerful. 7, give respect, not just money. Some people need dignity, listening, understanding, kindness, patience. Money feeds the stomach. Respect feeds the soul. A single respectful interaction can change a life. Money divides when shared. Knowledge multiplies. Teach someone a skill, a concept, an opportunity, a lesson, and you create generational impact. Charity begins at home, family, need. H-bores, co-workers, community, helping nearby creates immediate ripple effects. True giving crosses religion, race, nationality, gender, class. When you give to someone different from you, you heal humanity itself. Before spending on luxury, ask, can I allocate even one to help someone? This question alone reshapes financial destiny. As your income grows, your generosity should grow faster. This keeps abundance flowing. Water that flows stays fresh. Water that stagnates becomes poisonous. This is the most difficult and the most powerful, even in hardship. Give time, give prayer, give kindness, give effort. History shows those who gave during difficulty emerged stronger. The children who learn generosity early, grow confident, develop empathy, manage money wisely, build strong relationships. Teaching giving is teaching life. Trust the process, not the timing. The return may come immediately, gradually, unexpectedly, indirectly. Trust the process. Seeds do not grow overnight, but they always grow if planted correctly. Giving is not an ideal. It is a practice, not complicated, not dramatic, not expensive, just consistent. And when practiced, life responds. Doors open, fear fades, abundance follows. Because the law is unbreakable. What you give out comes back to you 770 or 700 times in ways you cannot predict. This speech explored a universal law of life shared by all religions, cultures, sciences, and human experience. What you give returns to you, multiplied. This principle appears in the Qur'an. Giving one seed returns 700 to 700 times. In the Bible, give and it will be given to you, pressed down and overflowing. In Judaism, generosity to the poor is a loan to God. In Hinduism, Buddhism, karma and dana. In philosophy, science, reciprocity, psychology, neuroscience. In nature, seeds, rain, trees, oceans, bees. In history, civilizations that shared thrived. Those that hoarded collapsed. In economics, wealth circulates to grow. In personal life, generosity heals fear, builds confidence, opens doors. We learn that giving is not about how much you give, but how sincerely and consistently you give. We saw individuals who gave small amounts and transformed their lives. Billionaires who gave billions and became even wealthier. Ordinary people whose kindness led to unexpected opportunities. Societies that flourished because wealth flowed, not stagnated. Giving works because it aligns you with divine laws, natural systems, human psychology, social trust, universal balance. Before money multiplies, the giver multiplies. A message to all humanity, whether you call it Allah, God, divine law, karma, the universe, or simply humanity. The truth remains the same. Life responds to generosity. When you give, fear loosens, hearts open, opportunities appear, trust grows, abundance flows. A dollar given is never lost. It becomes a seed. That seed may return as $7. A new opportunity, $100. A new opportunity. Protection in hardship, peace of heart, a changed destiny, or a blessing beyond money. The return may not come from the same place you gave, but it will come. So the question is not, can I afford to give? The real question is, can I afford not to? Give not because you are rich, but because giving is what creates richness. Give not because the world is kind, but because kindness is what heals the world. Give not because you expect applause, but because generosity is what makes us human. And when humanity learns to give again, the world will receive peace, balance, and abundance. 700 to 700 times over,